One Piece TCG distributors have started listing products for ST14, and it looks really cool, and we barely know anything about it. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to make this point very clear. We barely know anything about this. We're going to start off with just the information that we know. Then after the facts, we're going to go into the speculation. But let's just get into 3D2Y starter deck ST14. Now, we don't have any images of this product yet, but its release date is going to be listed right now as August 16th, 2024. Again, that's what it's listed as. It could move depending on, like the manufacturing, right? It could just be a placeholder date. Now, with this starter deck, the legitimate description says a starter deck with a post-Summit War theme. This deck showcases the Straw Hat crew and their 2 years of individual training following the Summit War. In addition to members of the Straw Hat crew, this deck introduces new characters such as Heracles and Heracles? I haven't gotten this far in the anime. Essentially, this is taking place in the timeline after the Summit War saga, and then in the anime and manga, there's like a 2-year time skip. Build a black deck that controls costs. So this is pretty much confirming that ST14 is going to be a black deck, a black centered deck, and black's whole thing is controlling costs. Packed with cards that perform best with high cost allies. Increase the cost of characters on your field. That's a super big keyword that we're going to talk about later, or I should say key phrase, to unleash an imposing new tactic that will shake up gameplay in the One Piece card game. Everything you need to play all in one product. It comes with 5 holographic cards, and leader cards are hollow and texture foil. Pretty sure it's consistent from what we've gotten the last several starter decks. Newcomers can easily pick up the One Piece card game with this product. Cards from this deck will also be combined with previously released cards to build a variety of decks, and it's going to again revolve around control costs. So we have the Navy black starter deck, we have the Luffy black starter deck, and then ST13. There's black yellow Luffy, but that's not the same as like just regular black Luffy like in starter deck 8. So I don't know if we can, and this is again speculation, I don't know if we can 100% say that this is a mono black deck, but if I was a betting man, which I'm not actually, fun fact, I would say that this is probably more than likely going to be a mono black deck. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of why I want to talk about this so bad and why I'm making an entire video entirely. It is confirmed that this deck will have cards that increase the cost of characters on your field. Now think of like literally any black card in the One Piece trading card game. It is all minusing cost. Now we officially have cards that go higher. Now, another very interesting thing about this is that it says packed with cards that perform best with high cost allies. I think that's a very kind of key phrase alongside it. Again, this is speculation. I think we can take this very literal in that these cards will only increase characters on your field. But think about it. There's a lot of possibility in the different things that you can do with black. Make a fun new mechanic. If you think about essentially like about the Vinsmoke family deck, right? This deck is essentially manipulating their Dawn to level up characters. Alongside ST13, these yellow cards are essentially manipulating life to level up their character, essentially. Like literally, like the Ace one does it, the Sabo one does it, the Luffy one also does it. So I think there's reason to believe that this deck is going to do the same thing, but with cost. Now, I don't exactly know what that could look like, because if you look at the ST13 cards, this is trash your character. Look at the top card from your life, and if it's this, put it on. The Vinsmoke family deck, it's essentially minusing a Dawn to trash the character and play a card from the trash. Thinking a little bit about the card game, you think of life, you think of trash. There's either two options. There's from your hand or from your deck. Now, personally, I think like increasing the cost of characters by like activating something from the deck or something and just pulling out whatever card, I think that's that's broken. I've played enough Pokemon to know that that definitely won't happen in One Piece. So if they continue this method of evolving characters, then it seems reasonable to believe that this is probably going to be like coming from hand. They could also do trash. I mean, we have plenty of cards that like get stuff in trash. You know, I'm thinking right now the Gecko Moria leader, which I don't think it would be that, to be honest. Let's be clear. But like, it feels weird for black like level ups to not happen from the trash, right? Because you trash so many cards in your deck. It also, this is kind of speculation option 2 of what it could look like. And again, this is just speculation. There could be things like event cards. You know, we have the Great Eruption event card, draw 1 card, -2 cost on an opponent's character. What if instead it was draw 1 card, +2 on your character, and then maybe it comboed well with another card on the field that said if there's another character on your field that has X or higher cost, this card gains 1,000 power. That could lead up to some pretty interesting combos and strategies. One of the things that I really like about this too, and is one of the reasons that I've really liked Starter Deck 13. Let's look at Starter Deck 13 and let's look at one of the decks on One Piece Top Decks.com, which, by the way, I'm going to link One Piece Top Decks in the description below because a lot of you ask about that. 3 cards from ST13, 4 cards from ST13, 4 cards from ST13, 4. Lots of cards from the starter deck going in this unique deck. Luffy, the same cards basically, plus some Makinos. So one of the things that I feel like is coming with this new deck as well is just a super unique way to play black. And when I say super unique, I don't know if stuff like this coming from this set is going to be super influential on the decks that we have today. Now, you can build something that entirely uses these cards and potentially as well, right? There may be like one card that's actually like pretty good in a deck, right? I'm looking at you, Queen. But I was looking through all the leaders and I'm like, is there a leader that actually works? I mean, if you look at all the black leaders, right? Garp does not want cost to get higher because it's 7 or less, it says. Zephyr KOs characters with cost of 3 or less. Smoker gives -1 cost. Linlin doesn't really care about cost. I think it's more the yellow part. It just happens to also be able to play black. Even though Isho does work with your characters, it's only 5 or less. Rebecca doesn't really care, just wants to draw cards. Sakazuki gives minusing through the attack. So the only one that I could potentially think of that could utilize this deck is Rob Lucci. Now, I assume with a starter deck like this, if you were going to build cards similar to like how ST13 is, right? You have a majority of the starter deck cards, but then you have a little bit of other stuff sprinkled inside of it. Rob Lucci is the only one that could like really benefit from it, and I think it's kind of a minuscule amount too. If you don't know exactly what Rob Lucci does, 5 life, 5,000 power black leader. Your turn, once per turn, you may trash 2 cards from your hand. When your opponent's character is KO'd, set this leader as active. So, circling back to the evolution thing, if they give black this evolution phase through the trash, this would be a really good way to cycle those cards that do evolve from the trash into the trash, right? But the interesting thing that could come up is we could, and I mean we could, and again, speculation, there could be situations and cards printed that don't manipulate the cost of your opponent, but could definitely KO certain costs of opponents. I mean, we're talking about black here. Having this kind of evolution engine that is cycled through Rob Lucci could actually be pretty good. You would definitely need some draw though, because like we only start out with 5 cards and you only draw 1 card per turn without any other effects. So like trashing 2 cards a lot makes your hand really small. But it's really interesting, the possibilities. I kind of love this direction with black. I think that this like starter deck is going to be really, really cool and unique in its own right. I'm just really, really, really hoping that it's not going to be super difficult to find, because like, I don't know, man, if the deck's like half decent, it might be a pain and a half to get these starter decks. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got in this video. Again, there's a lot of speculation. I'll link this website in the description below if you want to come see it for yourself or whatever, or if you're a store and you happen to come across this video, your orders are due in 32 days, so make sure to put your orders in. I should be getting at least one of them. Hopefully going to be aiming for 2, so then I can at least have play sets of everything in the deck. But anyways, let me know if you want to see contents of that when they release in English here on the channel, to see if, you know, you're interested in getting it or not. I don't know. I'm just thinking of different things. Anyways, have a great rest of the day. Hope to see you in the next video. And, well, get excited for things coming in way too far in the future.